All these new providers, all these new competitors, all these new realities are changing the expectations of the marketplace when it comes to pricing. People are expecting certainty. They are expecting reliability, and they're going to require it. And if lawyers 5, 10, 15 years from now are still trying to say to that market when asked how much this is going to cost, well, it depends, or I'm not sure, that's not going to cut it. So I'm Jordan Furlong. I'm a lawyer, author, and consultant. I work with the legal marketplace, specifically with lawyers, law firms, and legal organizations. I write about the changes taking place in the legal market and how lawyers can adapt to that. In broad terms, we can find at least 3 areas in which lawyers and law firms can engage themselves, can commit themselves to making changes and doing things differently that can, I think, chart a course back towards the center. The first of those is to understand, much better than lawyers and law firms do today, their costs of doing business and to be able to fix the prices at which they offer their services. Understanding your cost of doing business is more than just being able to look at the last line on your tax return or the total cost aspect of the spreadsheet. It's being able to say, how much money, how many resources do we expend in order to serve our clients? And that has to be broken down according to types of client. It should be broken down according to specific clients. Many law firms believe that their best client, quote unquote, is the one that brings in the most revenue. But as I've said before, if you have a client that brings in $1 million a year, but you spend $950,000 to service that client, then your profit's only 50 grand, and this is not that great a client after all. When you understand your costs, you are then in a position to be able to fix your prices, to set fixed fees or flat fees, or even fees that come within a range, no less than this but no more than that, or fees that have risk elements to them, shared risk opportunities. There are many cases in which you can be able to say to a client, if you give this work to me, you will pay me 80% up front of our agreed fee, but if I hit all the check boxes on your key performance indicators, then instead of getting 20% to bring me up to 100, I'll get an extra 20% to 120%. There are in-house counsel that are quite happy with arrangements like that. Second broad category, I think, is really rethinking, reconfiguring what I would call the workflow, the operations of your law firm. And again, this will vary from practice to firm to area and jurisdiction. But consistently, you can find tools, you can find technology out there that are going to allow you to do your work more efficiently, more effectively, faster, and in many cases at a higher degree of quality than our current systems allow. Process improvement. This is a huge area. It has revolutionized virtually every other business and every other industry. For the most part, it has left law alone up until now. That is now changing. We as lawyers are in a position where we have to improve our processes, and we can, through project management, through new ways of working, new ways of operating, new ways of controlling the systems by which we deliver our services. All of these are possible. We frequently, and I think misleadingly, make reference to something called access to justice. And what we mean by that, of course, is that there are many people out there who can't afford lawyers and that this is a serious social problem, which is absolutely true. But I think from the lawyer's point of view, what may be more helpful is turn it around and say, instead of thinking about people's access to lawyers, let's turn around and think about what about lawyers' access to the market? How can lawyers change how they do, change the nature of their work, change their cost structures and their pricing systems and their accessibility and their affordability and their delivery mechanisms in order to become more accessible and more attractive, to open up possibilities of relationships that simply don't exist right now? That, I think, is the growth area. So I talk about ways in which you can re-engineer your systems to become an operation that can offer services at fees lower than they have been offered in the past, but because you have also reduced your cost of doing business, you still turn a profit, perhaps you even turn a higher profit. One of the things I discussed today was this idea of preventive law, the idea especially useful for litigators, to be able to go to a client, especially a small business or a corporation, and to be able to say, how can we re-engineer the way in which you work? How can we mitigate your risks internally so we reduce the likelihood of litigation? Or if litigation occurs, we reduce the impact of it and the devastation that it can incur. And there's so much possibility here for people to be able to, for lawyers to be able to make that kind of offering to their clients, and clients will be open to it. In fact, you talk to corporations and businesses at in-house counsel, they're crying out for their lawyers to say, understand our business, understand our risks and our realities and our necessities, help us, work with us to change that and make that better. I think that is a huge untapped opportunity for law firms and lawyers. And that's really the positive message I want to leave lawyers with. There's no question the situation we find ourselves in right now is serious. It is threatening to us as a profession, and we need to be galvanized by that. Not to give up, not to throw in the towel, but to say we have the ability to service these opportunities. We have the chance to go in there and say we can be the ones to help people through that. I think that is the opportunity that awaits us right now, and I think lawyers are in a great position to do exactly that.